A farmer was walking along the beach when he spotted a $50 bill. At first, he thought he had just gotten lucky. But as soon as he slipped the money into his pocket, he noticed something else buried in the seaweed, a whole bag stuffed with $100 bills. The farmer froze in disbelief. He suspected this money might not be clean, but at the same time, he couldn't resist the chance to become rich overnight. In the end, he decided to keep it all. Making sure no one was around, he hurried into his barn and poured the bills out onto the table. Since the bag was filled with seaweed, he first rinsed the money with clean water. Then he strung ropes across the room and hung the bills to dry. Looking at his barn filled with $100 notes, he couldn't contain his excitement. To avoid raising suspicion, he continued his usual routine of collecting seaweed at the shore and selling it to an old man in town for a bit of extra income. One evening, his wife came home to find the table covered with seafood he had prepared. Before she could even react, he handed her a stack of cash for household expenses. Afraid she might grow suspicious, he quickly explained that seaweed prices had gone up. Seeing her husband so happy, she decided not to ask further questions. The next day, the farmer returned to the beach as usual. But this time, he noticed a small boat drifting toward the shore. Curious, he pulled it closer and suddenly realized it was connected to the money bag he had found earlier. Worried his secret might be exposed, he dragged the boat onto the sand and set it on fire. But the heavy smoke caught the attention of the Coast Patrol. They rushed to put out the fire and began searching the area. Soon, they found a single $100 bill stuck in the seaweed. At that moment, the farmer's wife happened to witness it. Remembering the large sum of money her husband had given her recently, she began to suspect something wasn't right. It didn't take long for the police to question the farmer, since he was the only person in the area who made a living selling seaweed. He tried to act calm and denied everything. Without enough evidence, the police had no choice but to leave. That same night, the old man who also collected seaweed showed up at the farmer's door. He had found some cash tangled in his seaweed and assumed it belonged to the farmer. He tried to return it, but when the farmer refused to admit anything, the old man suggested they split the money. The farmer's wife could only look at her husband with silent frustration. The following day, the farmer went back to the beach. To his shock, he discovered a body lying near the same spot where the small boat had been. As he stood there, panicked and unsure what to do, he saw two people walking toward him. Thinking quickly, he dragged the body away and buried it in an abandoned lot. Back home, he scrubbed down his tractor, terrified that someone might find out. Meanwhile, a man arrived in town looking for the missing money bag. He questioned a store clerk about who often went to the shore, and the clerk pointed him straight to the farmer's house. At the same time, several police cars started patrolling nearby. A hunting dog had wandered into the abandoned lot and uncovered the buried body, and its owner immediately called the police. Realizing he was in serious danger, the farmer decided to move the money elsewhere. But just as he stepped outside, he ran straight into the stranger who had been searching for the cash. The farmer had no idea that picking up a bag of $100 bills would lead to such disaster. The stranger demanded the money, and the farmer had no choice but to hand it over. While the man crouched to check the bills, the farmer lunged at him and tackled him to the ground. But the stranger was no easy opponent. Within seconds, he twisted the farmer's arm behind his back, pinning him down. Just as the situation turned critical, the police investigating the earlier crime scene arrived. The farmer quickly slipped away, but the stranger suddenly pulled out a gun and opened fire, forcing the farmer to surrender on the spot. Instead of finishing him, the stranger cuffed him and dragged him to the shore. It turned out there had been 2 bags of cash. The farmer had only stumbled upon one, and he had no idea where the second had gone. The 2 of them stayed in the car overnight. At dawn, the stranger went back to search the beach, only to find a few loose bills. As he hid behind some rocks to avoid 2 passing motorcycles, he glanced back and discovered the second bag. Meanwhile, the farmer managed to break free from the cuffs. But instead of running away, he decided to first secure the bag of money locked inside the trunk. When the stranger returned, he immediately checked the car. That's when the farmer ambushed him from the shadows, striking him down with a heavy blow. The hit was too strong, and the stranger never got back up. Now terrified, the farmer rushed home and confessed everything to his wife. She couldn't accept what she was hearing and ran back inside, leaving him unsure what to do next. Thankfully, a neighbor came over and tried to comfort him, even reaching to unlock his cuffs. But in the very next moment, a shot rang out, and the neighbor collapsed. The true owner of the money had finally arrived. He threatened the farmer, demanding both bags. With no choice, the farmer led him into the barn where the money was hidden. At the right moment, he grabbed a harpoon and struck him down. Although the immediate danger was over, the farmer was soon arrested for accidental manslaughter and sentenced to prison. His wife, however, was left with the money he had hidden away and went on to live a wealthy life. In a way, all his struggles hadn't been completely in vain. That's the story for today. See you tomorrow with another one.